Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Magnus, and in today's video we're going to create some rules within the SmartConsole. And to best be able to create new rules, we need to learn how to search the existing rule base and how to modify objects within the rule base. So this is what we're going to check out today. So I'm currently logged into the SmartConsole. You can of course use the SmartConsole demo if you don't have a lab. But first of all, we will go to the security policy. And then we will see we have the main office here. Just keep in mind, if you're starting up with a new environment or if you're not familiar with it, make sure to press the plus sign here to check if there are multiple policies. So you see here, it's only one policy and it's used by firewall cluster 1. But if you remember, Checkpoint can have multiple firewalls within the same management stations. You can also have multiple policies, and each of these policies can be applied to different firewalls. One firewall can only have one policy. So in this case, we only have the main office because we only have one gateway. But if we would have multiple firewall policies, it would look like something like this. So we just add a test one. So test policy. And you see here we selected all gateways as policy targets. This is something that you can of course change. If you do edit here, you have installation targets, and here you can select specific gateways. We cannot select anyone here because, well, if we do like this, I will show you, because this is something that our service desk asks from time to time. What will happen if I edit the incorrect policy? So this one, it has a drop rule, and that's the only thing it has. So if I publish the policy here and I try to install this policy, I mean, the firewall currently have this rule base, meaning it allows for internet, it allows for a lot more stuff. So if we add this test policy, stuff would break. So we do the install policy here, and we select the test policy. So what will happen here now? It says, yeah, we have 3 changes in one session, and we do install. So you see, you get a warning. You're about to override the current policy with test policy for this gateway. So hopefully this is something that catches your eyes and you don't only press install. I mean, it's a huge like yellow marker here. You're about to override the policy. So press cancel here and cancel. And we are going to remove that test policy because we don't need it. So just plus here, manage policies, and then we have the test policy and delete. Okay. So we know that we only have one policy here, and if you didn't see it, these 2 buttons, they are for expanding and collapsing all the sections, or the yellow parts here. So if you have a rule base, normally you have a lot more than 11 rules, and sometimes it opens up like this, and sometimes it opens up like this. I mean, the yellow markings here are only for making it easier for you to find within the rule base. So you can find sessions or sections that are what you're looking for. So you can do like a human-based, like human readable way to read the rules. Remember, as before, it's always from top to bottom, and the first hit counts. So what are we missing here? Well, we're missing the hits and comments. So this is something that you need to check, or I advise you to check it every time you log in, and just right click and hits and comments. And this will disappear if someone is like upgrading the SmartConsole, because then your settings will not remain, or if you log into a brand new thing, because the hits and comments are not default active. They are of course active, but they're not visible. So now we have both the hits and the comments available, and we want to expand all the rules so we can see it. Also notice here, we didn't expand the ones with the little mark here, because this is an inline layer. So this number 8 has multiple rules. So one of the most important thing when it comes to working with Checkpoint product is to learn how to read the rules, how to modify them, and how to add something. So let's imagine like we get the ticket saying like, yeah, I'm unable to send files to an FTP server. So what I normally do is I check the logs. But in this case, we don't have the FTP available here. We don't see it. We have very few rules, so we see that FTP is not permitted. But I will just do as an example, and hopefully this FTP server actually work from public. So open WinSCP, FTP, and username. Hopefully it works. So this is failing. Okay. So let's see if we can actually see this traffic within the logs. And we can do like this. Okay, so there we have the IP address. Let's see if we can actually see this in the rules. So this is something that is normally present within, well, your ticket. Of course, they will write like, yeah, I cannot reach this specific FTP site, and then you can do an NS lookup or a ping to get an IP address. And then port 21, because 21 is the FTP then. Okay, we see that it's blocked by the cleanup rule. So if we double click here, we can see like, yeah, it's blocked by the cleanup rule, access rule 11. And this is how you also can see like which policy is this actually hitting, because you can see under the match rules like, yeah, it's dropped, and we can click here to jump to that specific rule in that specific policy. And that way we always edit the correct policy. So here we see that it's blocked. Okay. So do we want to have a generic rule for this specific website or the FTP server, or do we want to allow everyone to go to this to port 21 all over the internet? And I'm thinking we will do a dedicated rule for this specific one. So under web surfing, I will just right click below. I will permit the group internal network. And here is where you can actually do like an Active Directory group instead. Like, yeah, I only want the engineering team, or I only want this specific team to be able to use FTP to this specific FTP server. And then we have the service, and we add FTP. You can also type 21, so FTP. And we want to change the action to accept, and we want to change it to log. And we want to put allow speed test over FTP. And then we put the comment like, yeah, ticket, whatever, my name, and then the date. But we need to fill in something under destination. Either we can take the external zone, and this will work, or we can put in a specific object. And you did see here, I move here by just holding over it and drag and drop. And if I remove this one here, delete this, you see that it says none. This is something new, because before, when you removed an object and have it completely empty, it did say any. And that's bad, because any is, as we did talk about in the last videos, that's any, meaning everything. Internal, external, it doesn't matter what sort of interface it is, it's any. But in the recent versions of Checkpoint, I believe this came in R81.X, they changed this to none. Meaning, if I don't do anything here, this rule will not be active for anything. It will not work. And you see that it came a little light bar here. So this rule will never be matched. Rule contains an object of the type none. So this will never work. You need to put something within the destination, and because we want to be able to, we want to learn how to create objects. So you can do it like this, the plus sign, and then you can do the this one, the little star, new, and we want to create the host object, because a host object is one single IP. You can also do a network object, that is a prefix like a /24 network, or you can do an access rule. This can be a specific identity like I talked about before, like yeah, it's accounting that can do this, or you can do matched on like MAC addresses or whatever. You can do quite a lot, and you can have groups, you can have ranges, and you can have others, meaning you can have dynamic objects. You can have DNS objects, or you can have quite a lot of nice stuff. You can also have like updatable objects, like you only want this to work to AVS or to Azure or whatever. You can use the updatable objects here then. But in this case, we want to create a host object, and I normally do like this. So I do like server, and then I put in the DNS, because we will make this object on IP address still. And then I do like this. So I have a very specific way I want to have my host objects. You can do however you want. You can resolve from name if you want to. It's important that you have DNS and so on working from the gateways or from the management station, depending on how you use your DNS. So in this case, we will just do the IP address, and I normally do external one to red, and then I do FTP server, like a comment. And now I have an object, a destination, and I will do like this. I will do publish. And sometimes, not always. Did you see what I did do there? So I have this rule here. I finished it with all my stuff. I pressed the publish, and then I did just do the refresh here. So you can actually see all the traffic that I have sent to this specific FTP server, because now it's matched the rules, but it says like, yeah, this was access rule 11 before the cleanup. But this means that I can see like my rule is actually working. So let's install this policy and try if it's actually working. And I haven't tried this before, so I hope it actually works. This is more or less a live demo, I can say then. Okay, so the policy has been installed. Let's see if we can log in. Yeah, it continued to log in, and now we're actually logged in. I don't know if you can do disconnect session. So now we are disconnected. Just reconnect, and you see it's working. Okay, so can we see this within the rule? Yeah, either we can just keep this one and then do refresh here, and we can see, yeah, we have two accepted here. One it tried ourselves, and then when I disconnected and tried again. And of course, if you search in the logs and monitors, refresh, we can see the traffic. And we can see, like, if we double click on this one, we can see that it's natted, the traffic. It's natted behind an RFC 1918 address because of how I set up my lab. But you can expect this to be an external one if you're doing this in real production. We can see that the destination, we can see which rule it did hit. So it hit rule number 8, the NAT rule. It also hit rule number 8 for the policy. If we click here, we of course get sent to this specific line. So that's one way, meaning you search within the logs for what you're trying to open. But sometimes application owners or system owners, they send in firewall requests in advance, meaning maybe they haven't sent any traffic. So what you can do then? Well, if we start off with like everything in collapsed mode, we can search for like here. Within this search bar, we can put, take services, like, okay, I want to see if we have any rule that would match to the service FTP, and press enter. Okay, so I see one specific rule here. Yeah, this should work. But what it didn't match, or maybe I can highlight this even more. If we do like this, so I do grep, this one, accept, log, meaning now I have a rule saying externally FTP traffic is allowed. So I do publish here. And I try to do the same filter. So services, FTP, enter. So it show up both. So what you need to know here is this will not actually get any hits in the future. Only that one will get hits in the future. And if you want to see like how the traffic is actually going, you can do packet mode on. And if I hit OK now, so what does this actually show? Well, we search for explicitly FTP. But FTP fits to service any. We didn't just see it because we did search for FTP. So if I do off here again, we only see the one that are specifically the service FTP. If you have a range, so let's do like this. If I have a range instead, and this is how you can do services. So the little star, services, TCP, and I do TCP, let's say 20 to 200. So 20 to 200. And this is how you do a range of it. And I do publish. And I search for FTP with packet mode off as default. Do you see the difference? So if it's included within the range, it still show up because this is port 21 and port 21 is included there. But if I do this to any, switch to any, publish, service, FTP, it will not show. Because we have not specified a specific port, but if I do packet mode on, enter, we see the any. Because this is what a packet can potentially hit. And if we want to limit this even more, we can of course add source. And we are within the, we can check what the IP address I have. So IP config. So I have this IP address. You think this will work? This is an IP address that is not within the object database here. It's just an IP address that I selected. It did. Strange. No, it's not strange. So this IP address is included within this. You see that it's orange. So this one is matching these ones. And let's do the packet mode off. Let's see, like this. Enter. Now we only see the source, and that's its FTP. So what I'm trying to say with this is you may miss stuff with this search. It's not bulletproof, but it catches a lot and it makes it a lot more easy. So what I try to do is that I try to avoid using services, and I try to only include destinations and source. So if I want to check traffic between two specific servers, or like my client to internet, then I do like a destination, and we can do an IP address of Google. We didn't find anything. Okay, why we didn't find anything? So let's do only the source, and let's see, could it be that it could go to that 88888? So enter. Now it shows off like, yeah, we can go to the external zone, we can go to any, this will match. If I however do like this, hosts, I add something, I add the IP 888, and this is Google, so I just do, I can do like this, Google. Publish. If I have the object here and try to do destination 888, will this match something? No. Okay, why not? If I try to do like this, Google, publish, source, I have 192.168.150, that was me. Destination 888, the Google. Now it shows. So what I'm trying to say with this, I guess rather long video, is that practice this search and destination and so on, and figure out like how it works for you. So what I normally do when it comes to internal traffic, like server to server, client to server, I put in both the server and destination without any like services to just see how many rules is still there. Can I check it? Yes, it works. If it's to something externally, I normally only do the source and possibility to use like the services. So like 21 as FTP. But you always need to remember that you may need to flip between this mode packet or not to be able to see the traffic. And the easiest way to understand this is just to play around yourself, see how it works, see how you use this search tab. Is it perfect? No. But it makes it a lot easier when you have a large rule base, and it helps you to limit on what you should check for. So try this out, check it, see what it means, and that's how you should use the search bar. So as a recap, I normally search in the logs. I normally don't use like the service or source or destination here. I normally only do like this. So I know the source or destination IP, and I put and I put both the IP addresses in the same time. Because, well, honestly, application owners, system owners, they have no idea what ports their application is using, and some documentation for the specific product is, well, it can be outdated, wrong, or whatever. So when I search for traffic that someone is claiming is denied or not working, I put in both of the IP addresses and just click enter to see all of this traffic. And if it's too much, then I start to filter it down. So, okay, I'm looking for FTP. Okay, add to filter. and FTP. Then I can see like a trend, or I can see like, yeah, I don't want to see not service FTP. Okay, so I see that I have made a ping. If I didn't do the if I didn't do this filter, like if I do only like this, some of the ports can be hidden. Like, yeah, I see a lot of FTP here, but I actually need to scroll down quite a lot to be able to see the ICMP, the ping. So when you're using the log functionalities, start off with this one. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.